Lowenstein had his head down over the Steinbeck. His nose was almost on it. His back hunched so that whatever his hands were doing with the film was concealed from the gaze of the band. We'd all been called over to his flat to view the rough cut of the video of Talking to a Stranger. The room was tiny. There was film everywhere. We were standing on film, 16mm. "What are we looking at?" said the bass player. His head was inches from mine. There was a general waft of stale beer in the room. We'd played the night before. It occurred to me that the waft, as it came to be called, was part of our group aura. It was a strange thought to have at that moment, but the night before had been another outrageous success, and my mind was floating joyfully from one absurd vision to another. I really thought I was on top of things, but nothing I'd done with this group could come close to what I was about to witness. "Be with you in a moment," said Lowenstein. Over the previous weekend, the synth player and the doctor had hung around St Kilda railway station wearing makeup and 20 suits. The station master had bailed them up and asked them to move on, and they'd pointed at the crew half a k down the track with a telescopic lens. The police dropped by. Next day, I sat on a chair in a Sorrento beach house, singing in the shower, naked, for 3 hours, the water running down over my head. They'd pulled rubber bands down over my face so that the flesh of my cheeks distorted. They'd said it looked fantastic through the lens. We'd wandered around a surf beach cliff top at 5 the following morning, helping to build a post-nuclear Holocaust humpy that a mad art director named Troy danced around, covered in dangling shreds of clothing and seaweed with a strange mask that made him look like a psychotic lyrebird. Lowenstein had filmed it all. Lowenstein was extremely excited. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. "Okay." He turned around. He smiled and rubbed his hands together. "Now, just watch the screen." The reels kicked into gear. The screen flickered into life. Strange animation of hand-drawn title. The synth player's wail, the clang of the wang, fog-bound St Kilda, the doctor's head in an akubra, twitching over the mysterious contents of a leather suitcase. And then we were swept up on a visual journey that took us into a wild, exotic land where the last vestiges of civilization were stripped away to reveal a desolate place, a vision of Australia, the robust, brutal landscape, worn down even further by some awful cataclysm in the immediate past. The stranger was some mystical beast of the future that roamed the horizon on the edge of the sea or lurked deep inside the dreamscape of the song. The beast was Troy, and the song became a kind of psychotic raving, wrenched from the mind of the singer whose face had been horribly slashed and disfigured by whatever he and the world had just gone through. Lowenstein had layered film over film to create a kind of acid effect where different worlds bled through each other. He'd meticulously sifted through the footage, finding what worked best over what. It was a huge undertaking. He hadn't slept for days. The film's effect was almost shocking, as though your eyes were being bombarded with the dark recesses of a nightmare. The psyche rose to the surface and ran riot. It was visual chaos. It was us. This overlaying technique fitted exactly with the organised cacophony of the Hunters and Collectors sound. Lowenstein had grasped something about us that we hadn't grasped ourselves. The sum effect of our sound that we all worked within but hadn't discussed. I was deeply affected. We all were. It was an artistic gift, and the fatalist in me thought, this is going to require a lot of explaining. Though the organism of the band twisted and turned over the years, and though Hunters and Collectors never released a single that was a hit, that song and that clip will live forever. There was nothing like it then and never will be. The film ended. The suspense in the room was palpable. People squirmed and shuffled. I looked down at my feet. I was crushing film. Pirano spoke first. "Can we see it again?" "Sure," said Lowenstein.